Episode 42 of Minor Disturbance Radio, and boy, this is going to be interesting because I can't even stop thinking about what just happened this last weekend with the All Star Jam. I'm still kind of like, my goosebumps are just now going down from it.
Mine are still up.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've been basically living and reliving every moment of that show since it happened, and I've just been in a perpetual state of bliss.
It's awesome. You know, let me just state that, just for the record, I just want everybody to understand how this thing came about. I mean, you know, I'm sure that they come up with an idea sometimes and you want to do something, and you kind of start doing the legwork and you're thinking everybody's going to laugh at you, you know, and everybody's going to be like, what are you talking about? Why would you want to do that? Well, when I started this All Star Jam thing, first of all, I didn't think that anybody would buy onto it. Like when I called Rascals to set it up, I thought that he would be like, maybe we'll talk about it, I don't know, and it would never really happen. But he was on board immediately. Kenny was on board, and that kind of made me feel a little confident about it. Like, okay, he said, man, that's a great idea, let's do this. And I just put the message out on Facebook. I've talked about this before, but I just put a message out like, hey, you know, anybody be interested in doing like a All-Star Jam?
You were all passive aggressive about it. Like, hey, no, I mean, really, I mean, do you think maybe? But I mean, no, you don't have to.
You don't have to.
I mean, but
you don't have to.
If you want to.
And if you say no,
never mind.
Yeah,
never mind.
If you say no, don't hurt my feelings. Don't just say, nah, I'd love to, but
right.
Everybody jumped on really quick and it filled up in a day. So it's not like I went and hand-picked everybody, although everybody that responded were great players, but I'm just saying that I didn't hand-pick everybody that was in this lineup.
Right. It wasn't like you, not you.
Right. It was
you,
the first.
not
it
you.
was first come, first serve on that one.
Duck goose shit going on.
And it was wildly successful. And people, first of all, I got to thank everybody for their time, because the people that did it, I mean, it wouldn't have happened without people doing it.
Right.
And donating their time. And I thought it was going to be a train wreck kind of thing, or people kind of know songs, they kind of don't. But God, man, there were some people, they were on their game.
They fucking brought it, man. From the first band, from Burnt Mud, as soon as I heard their rhythm section lock up at the very beginning of the very first song, it was like I knew at that moment this was gonna be good.
Yeah.
This was a good thing, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm with Brian on that. Really, thanks to everybody that came and played. I mean, you were incredible. The crowd, you guys, thanks for showing up. Amazing. And it was for a good cause, you know. Now, I don't know if Brian would tout this himself, and he might just edit my ass out for saying this, but he has spent a lot of his own personal, not very big fortune over the last year and a half chasing this dream of having a podcast go on. And, you know, desks and microphones and GoPros and mixing boards and softwares and, you know, all that kind of shit. It just really adds up. And I don't know if everybody knew going in what this was for, but it was really to make it so that Brian isn't continuing to swim in fucking debt from, you know, all of the stuff that he's done. So I mean, if I could like give a little bit of applause for Brian. Dude, you fucking put yourself out there. You fucking put your neck out there and wanted to do something, and you know you've been doing it, man. And it's nice that you could get a little bit to help you keep going.
I appreciate that, man. I really do. To me, though, I've been fighting with this in my head as far as how to take that, because a lot of people have said, you know, sent me messages saying, you know, how I'm affecting the scene and the community and all that stuff, and really, I mean, that's kind of something that just naturally, kind of organically happened with the people that are in the scene. I never set out to, hey, the scene needs help, I'm gonna make a podcast and help it.
You can't do it. You can't go with that mindset and have something good. Right. You can't think that way. I
can't sit and take credit for being innovative that way. All I did was just think, man, wouldn't it be fucking cool?
It's like a rally point.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's just a rally point. It's kind of like having a sports team for a lot of people. You know what I mean? You understand that even when you're in with a group of strangers, if you're all wearing the same colors, you know each other somehow. You know what I mean? And any community needs something to rally around. They need some kind of a symbol. And I'm not saying that I think that Minor Disturbance Radio is the beginning and the end. I mean, obviously Rascals Bar, Rascals is obviously a rally point. Any of the bands around here that are good bands and are constantly practicing and coming up with, better and better routines or better and better songs, they're rally points. They're places where crowds show up. They're places where musicians will congregate and say, you know what? Maybe there is something going on around here. Maybe there is something worth putting my neck on the line a little bit for. And if people are willing to risk a little bit and it's kind of widespread, then you got a scene, then you got a community. But I don't think anybody does it alone. But certain people do have to do things, though, by themselves in order to make those symbols that people can rally around.
Well, if my selfishness and need for attention helped the scene or community somehow.
I knew your motives were fucked.
Right. My motives were completely like, look at me, I want to be relevant somehow still.
I'm Joe Rogan.
I'm Joe Rogan. This is a Brian Miner experience. Yeah. No, to go from deciding I want to do a podcast to having things be the way that they are right now is I'm happy because we've actually gone up to the next rung on the ladder. I feel at least we're kind of legit now. I mean, we're the exposure. People understand that we're not fucking around.
All right,
we're not going anywhere. So
you're right.
But as far as the All Star Jam, I just wanted to kind of reflect on that again and say. I think like when we do it in the future, there's been such a response to that because everybody's now all of a sudden everybody's like, how come I wasn't in it? How come, somebody said the drummer for Broga Pants, Farley.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. It's your 6th time ever playing on stage and you're an all-star, like I said, when that came about, it was just kind of luck of the draw, whoever was kind of around in the net. And then I made groups out of them. But I think from now on, what we'll have to do is probably just have everybody that has the interest in doing it, and we'll kind of do like a lottery to where it's just like luck of the draw because I think that we're going to get more than.
So now wait a minute, you're saying we're going to do this again at some point?
I think it's absolutely an absolute must to do it again because even Kenny called me 2 days later, and I've never seen Kenny excited about anything.
He looked like he was happier than fuck.
And man. He told me, I don't call bands, a couple days after they play my club, but dude, that was crazy. That was, and I was like, hey man, it was okay. I've seen crowds in there, but and it's a new thing too. And he said it's only gonna, it's only going to get bigger, he thinks.
It kind of fused the boundaries between a festival and a variety show. You know what I mean? Like it was somewhere between going somewhere and seeing a bunch of bands play full sets all in a row that are all bands you like or in the same genre or whatever.
He said it was the first night that he had 0 complaints from any patrons.
Whoa.
Like nobody was coming up to him like, hey, this is cool, but, we got to go. He said that everybody had nothing but good things to say, and he's actually mad at himself that he didn't come up with the idea before I did. Because
some people are geniuses, and
but we got the lock on this shit now.
Patent pending.
Yeah, good luck, man.
Trademark.
Good luck. You got a lot of work to do. But look at the banner behind you. We had everybody that was in the jam sign the banner.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I thought that was awesome. That was kind of a last minute thing. Let's have everybody sign that thing.
Man, yep. Oh, dude. I just want to go on and on about it because the performances, and it wasn't just the performances, it was the fact that it was all these dudes, that I'd known for so long.
And they never played together. So.
And man, the way that they locked up and the way that they were able to form bands seemingly instantly.
Yeah.
Like from zero to band.
Now, no, don't get me wrong. I know that there was some rehearsing going on, and I know when I started this, I was like, because I didn't want to put anybody out. I didn't want anybody to have to spend time going to a practice or
waste their time. Requirement.
But they did anyway, a lot of them.
I think it's because none of us want to get up on stage and suck.
That's exactly what Kenny said.
We don't want to get up on stage and suck because that would ruin our night, and it ruins the audience's night.
And you're playing in front of all your peers.
But at the same time, I mean, I know I've said this before. Let's go back to the early days of Travis Williams on Minor Disturbance Radio. 6 months ago, 10 months ago, whatever it was. You would be like, man, you should bring like some topic cards or something like that. Do them. I'd be like, yeah, man, that's a great idea. And I never did because I kind of have this thing where I think that sometimes if planning comes at the expense of spontaneity, you want to be in that sweet spot between having things be scripted and having things be spontaneous. You want I think the word is extemporaneous. It's that spot that's in the middle where you kind of have an idea about what you want to do, but you haven't like sat and got it to the point where it's down to a gnat's ass. You know, you've still got that spark, that fear, fear of, I don't really quite know what I'm doing, you know, and that's what charges it, you know.
Yeah, my nerves were definitely on 10. I was at DEFCON freaking red or whatever the fuck 5 or.
I thought I was gonna shit my pants.
Well, I mean, it was a whole lot. It was a culmination of a lot of things, like a perfect storm, because it was nerve wracking to be putting it on, because there's 24. Was there 28? Or there was how many? 7. There's 28 musicians that had to show. 29.
Right.
Because I keep counting one guy out all the time. Zach Damp was in the last band.
Right. That's right.
Sorry, we'll talk
Zach,
about that. But
we think you're cool.
So 29 musicians that are, I'm kind of hosting. And I want them to have a good time. And I want them to leave this function going, man, I'd love to do that again.
Dude.
And everybody kept telling me, man, this was so much fun.
Let me know.
More than a blast. It was this and that. And I think it was so cool because the built-in audience was all people that respect bands people, right?
And
musicians. And the fact that we're all together. There wasn't anybody walking in like, these guys suck,
or there was none of that.
Everybody was going like this, fucking cheering for everybody, and the community was so strong that it was.
It's almost like there was no general public.
Right.
Either if you were there, you were either there as a musician or as a direct supporter of that musician. Like some of the things that kind of blew me away was Ted Renner. Yeah. Of course, who, by the way, is from the Hong Kong Sleepover and is fucking amazing. No, there were people that drove up from Burlington. Mm-hmm. I met a couple that drove up. They drove 2 hours to come up to the show, dude, and they had a great time. They had no regrets. Totally worth the drive, they said. And that just fucking blew my mind, man. Yeah. That was cool.
If we were that is awesome. If we were truly going to do an all-star jam, we would have to have like 50 bands.
Right, there's no way.
I understand. But next time that we do it, if we do it, there's going to be 8 bands. I figure 8 is safe because now we kind of know how the night flows. Yeah. We've never done this before. We just kind of went in there like, what are we going to do? Well, we'll talk from fucking 9:30 to 10, and we got up there at 9:30 and we're like, we're going to just start playing bands because we don't have anything else to say. It's
Plus, there were times where it was in between bands and I was like, so, how's everybody doing tonight? I didn't know what the fuck to say. Right. I was up there like a fucking idiot.
No, you weren't.
No idea.
I think people understood that, and people are going to have to deal with that a little bit because we got to...
Dwyer and Michaels were watching it going... These guys got no MC skills.
Yeah, these guys are green.
Green
Yeah, but that's not what we really are. I mean, we're podcasters. Them guys have big houses that they've bought because they talk well.
Yeah, because they know how to incite a crowd.
Right. I'm in debt because I don't talk well.
Dude. You have to have benefit shows because nobody will fucking pay you to do this shit.
Yeah, I mean, if people think that this is something that they'd want to see again, please, let us know. Actually, it'd probably happen regardless, but I really like to feel the support from it, and musicians, feel free to let us know that you'd be interested so that we can get your name in a pool and start trying to organize the next one, because with bands, you have to do it 3 or 4 months out at least, right, to make sure you're not booked somewhere.
Right. That was another kind of amazing thing about it, the fact that everybody was able to do it, because everybody that was there, save for a few people like myself, plays in bands regularly and plays shows and shit. The fact that everybody was able to make it out on a Saturday night and didn't have any major conflicts, that was fucking amazing.
It was, and nobody backed out.
Nobody backed out.
Nobody backed out. So, and then of course, as soon as it was over, it seemed like I got a lot of people like, dude, we really wanted to make it, but to me, they were saying when they didn't go, they were probably like, I kind of wanted to go, but I didn't go. But then after it was over, they're like, now I really am mad that I didn't go,
right.
Because there were some magical things that happened.
There really were, dude.
There really were, and I mean,
I don't think the videos are gonna really probably do it.
And
justice,
I was gonna say
dude.
too, I had GoPros up. One on stage kind of facing out and one facing in, and I was just hoping like hell they'd record, because you never know. I'm trying to control it with my phone and stuff. I've never done that before, and I had them running, and they ended up getting the entire night. But I sat down and I edited the videos together, like the back camera and the one facing in, and I kind of tried to cut between them so it was more interesting rather than a static one video of the front of the stage,
like a fucking silent movie or something.
Yeah.
It's one camera static.
And the thing I noticed though is like coming off of that high of the energy, because we were on stage, we sat on the stage the whole time when bands were playing.
Which, by the way, I did not expect that you were going to set it up that we would just both be on stage the whole time, but it was a fucking brilliant move because I rocked out. I was so sore. I was sore the next morning, but then I was really fucking sore the morning after that.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I banged my head. I fucking jumped around. I fist pumped. I fucking pounded on shit. I fucking air guitared. I lip synced. I did every fucking possible.
Me too. We would look like two caged monkeys back there, like behind the amps and stuff. You'll see.
Totally, we were go-go dancers.
Yeah.
Not to be seen.
What I was getting at with the video thing is, sorry, I'm getting a little excited. And when I get excited,
might be the coffee.
That too. But what I noticed when I went back to do the video is that, when you're dealing with GoPro audio, they're in these plastic cases and they're getting muffled sound to begin with, and then everything just sounds kind of flat.
Yeah, they're not exactly the pinnacle of fucking audio quality.
You can't really do too much with it. So, but I did record the whole thing, and I tried to put it together so that you could at least see kind of how the show went.
So we're gonna get to watch one of the videos?
Yeah, hell yeah. So in this podcast, that's all we're gonna talk about on this one is the All Star Jam, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about the members of each band, and then we'll play you like a clip of what they did, and that way you can get kind of a feel of the energy in the room. I'm trying to convey it, but like I say, these videos don't convey that energy that I felt.
No, me either, dude. There was something about it, man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people felt it, There was just something about it. The whole night, there were a lot of people I know that came to the show that thought to themselves, well, I'm just going to go and I'm going to hang out till my guy plays. I'm going to take off.
Yeah, they didn't.
But they didn't, man. A lot of people stayed for the whole show.
It's because they didn't know what they were going to get next.
Nope. And it was all interesting and different. And it was good. Everybody was good. So anyway,
let's give them a taste of what it was kind of like. Because like I said, we took our dumbasses up there and we're like, hey, we're Minor Disturbance Radio. So let's get the first band up here. And we didn't know what to expect, and I knew as soon as... You'll see. So let's play the what were the first band was...
The first band was Burnt Mud.
Burnt Mud.
Yeah. Pay attention to us behind the... Pay attention to the band, but also look at our dumbasses.
But don't forget, we got, I announced them, I think, on this video, but it was Jerry Smith on bass. It was Billy Pfeiffer on lead vocals.
That's right.
It was Wes Weber on drums
and Jeff Hazen.
Jeff Hazen on lead guitar. So that was the mix of the first supergroup. And I just as they were walking on stage, I could tell that something cool was about to happen. I just watch this. This is cool.
All right. It was fucking what were they called? I don't know. What were they called? Burnt Mud. Burnt Mud. Where are they at? Okay. So who's in Burnt Mud? On bass we got Jerry Smith from a band called Drop Hammer and Cheese Pizza. As much as I hate to say Cheese Pizza, because I got fired from that band twice. And our lead vocalist Bill Piper, another band I got fired from twice. Lead guitar, Jeff Hazen from the world famous Dive Bomb and Simon Sinner's album. And Wes Weaver on the drums from Drama Major. Drama Major. You gotta emphasize the drama, not the major. You guys, behold, what you're about to see here is gonna be a special thing. This is gonna be... Oh, it's gonna be special. It's gonna be special. These guys said that they practiced at least 100 times. And if they mess up at all, then Bill's buying drinks. Well, I'm gonna get my credit card out, because I'm sure it's not gonna go real smooth. You guys having fun yet? Let's get this shit on. Minor Disturbance Radio. Yes. I watch it every fucking time, I'm telling you. I love it. It's awesome. I do. I watch every episode. I think I've only missed one. Oh, that was the one you were on. I didn't watch it, right? Fuck, I don't need to see that shit. Whenever you're ready, gentlemen. Somebody ought to.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was a
man.
pretty sprightly fucking rendition of that song. And I'm a real fan of that early Van Halen stuff. So the fact that that was the first song that we heard that night was a particular like symbolic thing to me. I was like, oh, this is what this is. And the rhythm section, as soon as they locked up right at the beginning of the song, I thought, this is it.
Yeah, I could feel the stage moving. I mean, Wes was hitting hard, and
Yep.
it just the driving force. And I realized right then when we set into this thing, I was like, man, I did the right thing, because we would have never seen anything like this.
No. Who would have played that song for us?
Right, that mix of people in front of a packed house too, because
Yeah.
it could have happened maybe on a Saturday night that them guys happened to go out at the same time.
Sure.
But who would be there to see it sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, man.
That's the part of it. That's the fucking fairy dust. You know what I mean? That's the magic sprinkles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what set it apart, kind of as just
The
a
magic
magical night.
sprinkles.
Yeah. You like that shit? Yeah.
And oh, by the way, when I put that video together, I didn't quite get the audios locked up tight, so there's a bit of kind of like a slap back in the audio. I'm sure that nobody cares, but
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck.
I mean, like I said, Bill Pfeiffer's voice on that, he sang so well. He always sings well.
He really does, man.
He's a consummate
got a great
pro.
voice, and he's one of those guys that I think has a recognizable voice. When you hear him singing, you know it's him because of that vibrato and there's certain way that he says words. I mean,
Yeah,
not
it was
everybody
really
can
cool.
make that claim. You know what I mean? Not
It was
everybody
really
can really do that. So
And he's a great front man too. So he
Yep.
got everybody was comfortable, and he wasn't like, all right, we're the best. He was more of like, let's see what happens.
yeah,
and I love that attitude.
Yeah, no,
you know?
and it was great, and you could see that he was having fun with the guys on stage. It wasn't tense, completely relaxed about
Yep.
the whole thing. Also, Jerry Smith on bass and backup vocals, fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I've worked with him for years. I was in Drop Hammer with him for a long time, and he could never have played the song before. And by the end of the first verse, he'll know the entire song, and,
Right.
and he'll play it probably perfectly and know the backups too. And
Right.
just one of them guys that just can fall right into.
But also not to say he's a hard worker, because, I get the impression from him that he is the sort of guy who really will go in and learn everything too. You know what I mean? Like, he's a studious sort of player, and not everybody's that way. I admit I struggle with that. Probably my biggest struggle for this whole thing was the fact that when I was young and I'd pick up these songs, they came real easy to me. I had young, fast fingers, and all I thought about was music. It's all I cared about, making mental maps of songs and keys and all that stuff. I waited till the last minute to learn the songs that I was doing, and that was a mistake, I think, at least for my emotional health. You know what I mean?
What were you thinking?
I was just thinking that I'll just listen to the songs and I'll be able to pick up my guitar and just play them. You know what I
Really?
mean? Because that's the way I used to do things. I just listened to it, and then I would just know the song. I'd pick up and play. Oh, no, that did not work this time. My fingers wouldn't cooperate. I would do things, 10 times in a row perfectly, and then on the 11th time still mess it up.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to your super group
my
when we
stupid
get there,
shit.
but,
yeah, right. We'll pick my dumb shit apart.
But Wes played really good. I mean, Wes is a great drummer.
He's
too.
a great drummer anyway.
He's just got so much presence. He looks good behind the kit.
Absolutely.
And he plays well. Although that they kind of fell off after the solo there a little bit, but that's kind of what I was expecting.
Yeah, we knew that was going to happen.
I wanted to hear some of that.
Did he ever lose the one?
Nope.
No.
They always came back in.
Always was right there.
That's how you know you're dealing with pros.
That's right,
so,
man.
And then, okay, who else do we have in that band? Well, we talked about Hazen.
Yep.
Well, as we were watching it, you were like, God, Hazen's a good player,
He is a
man.
really great player. And, he used to come in the music around all the time, and I never saw him. This was the first time I ever saw Jeff Hazen play. And to see that he's just such a terrific player, I was just like, fuck, man. He would come into music around all the time, and he'd buy guitars, but he would never. There was no try before you buy.
Right.
You know what I mean? He would just buy the shit. And,
He's actually, you wouldn't be able to tell by watching him play on stage, but he's pretty shy, really.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember. I think he's stepbrothers with Sean Wagaman.
Okay.
I think that's right. Like, there's some relationship, and Sean would always come in and fucking he'd beat up guitars all day long. You know what I mean? And he always had some shit on layaway. Jeff would come in and buy it. Sean would come in and just put it on layaway. But I always wondered what kind of player he was, and great sound, man.
Cool.
Great sound, great player. Oh, who was next? What was the next band after that?
Brass Nipples.
That's right.
Right.
Which Brass Nipples was Kevin Sampson, Tony Carducci,
Kevin Sampson on drums, Tony Carducci on lead guitar.
right? Mike DePaul, and Mike Swanson, which I'd never seen Mike DePaul play either, which what bands was he in that he was known for?
He's a veteran from way back. I mean,
Right.
His mom owned the Clipper.
That's right. I did know that.
His mother owned the Clipper, and then he's been in so many bands.
Right.
He's just been a veteran of the scene since.
He's just pretty much ubiquitous. The dude just was always around and always.
Yeah, I don't associate him with any one band other than I just associate him with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because obviously being part of the proprietorship of the Clipper, I mean, that was everybody's fucking nesting grounds.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like the nest up on the cliff where the fucking, the sharks can't get you or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And,
that was that place.
But you know what? By the way, I've got the entire night. Like I said, GoPro. So I'm just giving I wanted you guys to see like the first song of the night. And that's why I let them play that whole song, because I wanted you to feel the energy of when they started and kind of how the response was when the first song was over, and that continued all night.
Yeah.
So, but for all the rest of the bands, including my own and stuff, it'll probably just be like a highlight so we can get back to the podcast and stuff.
Sure.
But we do have the entire thing. And I'll upload them at some point for people to watch them, because everybody did like 3 or 4 songs. So,
which Brass Nipples has Tony Carducci in it, which I feel like I should say something about Tony Carducci, because the dude is like a ridiculous shredder player.
Yeah, we were busting his balls the whole time he was on stage. Like, is that all you got? Is that all you got? Yeah, that was a good time.
Dude, man, that was great. And I'd seen him play in passing, in the guitar shop and things like that. But to see him get up on stage and fucking just level all of those sweep tap arpeggios and just strict fucking alternate picking, we should bust out some Tony Carducci for sure.
Yeah,
man.
let's get some Brass Nipples rolling here. Check this out. Here's a clip from that. So that was Brass Nipples, and like I said, I just put a highlight up. I didn't get any of Carducci's solos in there, but still, his hair's in it, so that's all that matters, right?
That dude just rolled his 20-sided die for +4 damage against magic users.
I was sitting back there behind the amp, just listening to Swanson sing. And my throat, I was like, shit, I'm wearing my throat out just hearing him. I'm not going to be able to sing when it's my turn, because for some reason I strain when I hear somebody sing, I kind of do the
tense it up, right,
with my muscles in here.
It's like when I watch a movie and they go underwater, I always hold my breath. Try to make it,
Yeah.
And then it's like, no fucking way.
So I was like, how does he do that, man?
Chloroseptic, dude.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah.
But, great set. Samson's a tight
tight drummer.
He's a tight drummer. I mean, everything is like right. I bet if you put a metronome on his ass, it would be right there.
He probably would be, man.
So,
Swiss time.
Yep. And I've never heard a bass louder than that. I don't know how loud it was on your side.
I think he had actually the loudest bass of the night.
Yeah, it was pounding. It sounded awesome.
I think, it did sound awesome, but I also think he kept looking at it like, am I supposed to be this loud? This is really fucking loud.
He was like, does that thing go louder? I think that's what he was doing.
I thought I saw him fiddling with his controls like, I'm not mixing. I'm not blending here the way I want.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were great. Yep. Fucking audience blew up after they got done. That was awesome. What did they do? They did Balls to the Wall. They did Symphony of Destruction.
Yep.
And
Shake Me.
Yeah, right. That's right. Because I had a number of people talk to me like, dude, they did fucking Cinderella, man. That's the most badass band. And I'm like, whatever, that band sucks. And they're like, fuck you. That was amazing.
It was good, man.
It was really good.
It was a lot of fun. And I appreciate all them guys doing it too. It's fucking amazing.
Totally amazing.
But the next band that was after them was called Denver Omelet.
That's right. And Denver Omelet, I think, probably like far and away had the most creative thing all night.
I was blown away.
Me too, man. The audience fucking fell out. It was
Matt Truitt on lead vocals. We had Mike Freeberg from 1152 on guitar.
Great guitar player. Kind of a street sleeper, man. Doesn't like to show off. Doesn't like to do big solos or none of that shit, but he's great at them when he does. I wish he would do them all the time, you know?
Yeah. Dustin Miner on bass from Night Street Memory.
That's right. And I'd never seen him play before, and he was great.
Right. On drums, we had Steve Merritt, who is fucking obviously he's in Kronos Resistor. He's a pretty technical drummer. That mixture of guys, I was looking forward. I didn't know what I was going to get. You know, when you get Matt Truitt and that mix, I was like, God, what are they going to come up with?
Well, like when I think of Steve Merritt, you know, you think of people, like I consider myself to be like kind of illiterate. And then when you're around somebody who's like a reader, you know what I mean? You're like, okay, yeah, I guess you can do things with that. You know what I mean? And Steve Merritt is one of those dudes that it just seems like he knows where every fucking subdivision of every beat is. Like because of that, he can pull stuff off that's super complicated that I don't really even see anybody else attempt.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve Merritt's definitely a monstrous player.
I didn't know what to expect. And then as soon as they started, I was like, this is totally what I expected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't expect anything less from Matt Truitt.
And I have to give a shout out to myself because I inadvertently named their band because on the episode that we did where we were talking about the thing leading up to it, you read off those names in whatever order, and I was like, what? With Matt Truitt too? What? That is like fucking like a musical Denver Omelet. So then Steve Merritt ended up making a meme out of it, you know, where he quoted me and put it in the nice script or whatever, you know, Travis Williams, you know, quote unquote, Travis Williams. And, man, Truitt got a hold of that shit and just fucking ran with it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yep, let's have it.
I wish somebody would make a meme out of me. Maybe they'll make a meme out of that. I wish somebody would make a meme out of me.
She made a meme out of me. And come back for more.
Ready to get your asses faces kicked.
Long Beach, California. It's time. So have your women bathed and brought immediately to the stage as a sacrifice for the undefeated MDR Supergroup champions. Here they are, Denver fucking Omelets! I'm waiting in my cold.
That's all you get of that one.
No, yeah, because, we might want to actually release their whole video as a thing, because instead of getting up and playing 3 or 4 songs like every other band did, they decided to do this insane medley where he had decided that the ingredients that are in a Denver omelet, which is like ham and green pepper and onion and cheese and eggs, he had decided that each member of the band was one of the ingredients in the Denver omelet. So he did this whole
It was brilliant.
It was fucking incredible, man. So it was all medleyed together.
I was laughing the whole time. What a great performer.
Yep.
And, thank God he was a part of it because it added that.
It was a dimension for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some other fucking bizarro world dimension of.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And poor Freeberg and Dustin, they couldn't. They're like, okay, so maybe we could play Living After Midnight and get the hell out of here. And no, you got to learn a 20-minute medley of 16 different songs.
Totally.
And all this stuff.
Yep. And I guess Truitt really was like the fucking ringmaster of that shit. He's like, all right, this is what we're doing, boys.
And they're like, God, why did I sign up for this MDR thing?
Right,
but I hope they had fun. I really do. I hope that everybody. I think they did, man.
I did. And, I really hope they take some pride in what they did, because obviously you couldn't get to the level of what they did, obviously, if you don't already have some basic talent. But if you didn't work, they worked for that, man. And fuck, man, it was just so cool.
Yeah.
It paid off.
I like it because in part of it, he goes like, and on the triangle, no one. Yes. And on the trumpet, fucking no one.
And on the didgeridoo, no fucking one. Yeah, that was great.
He was great, man.
He was great.
That was a good time.
For sure.
And I think we were after that. I think my Suspicious Package,
Suspicious
played
Package,
after that.
which, by the way, is a brilliant name for a band. Anybody that I mentioned that band name to immediately erupted into laughter, because it's like fucking triple entendre.
Yeah.
It's like it means like 3 different things at least. And it was suggested to me that the person who came up with that name was a guy by the name of Mark Watson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was Dettel that came up with it.
Well, here's the thing. Dettel told me that he stole the name from Mark Watson. Okay. And so as an interesting side note, the guitar that I was playing that night was, I think, a 1986. I could be wrong on the year. But it was a Jackson San Dimas that was made sometime in the mid-late 80s, like 86, I think. And it was originally owned and ordered custom by that Mark Watson guy, then sold to Mark Dettel. And Mark Watson, by the way, was a guitar player for Lynn Allen. And there were a number of nights where Billy Piper played that pink guitar, too. So then it ended up in Dettel's hands. And from there, it went to the guy that got me my job at the factory, John Dawson. So 3 guys were there that night that had all played that guitar on stage variously. So it was kind of cool to come full circle with that guitar, putting it on stage in front of 3 guys who had, somewhat intimate relations with that guitar. So I think that's why I chose that guitar, because I thought,
I thought that was the guitar you talked about before.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah. So it was kind of cool to bring that full circle.
Mark Watson was actually the guitar player that I'm talking about.
Yeah, right.
That was the second guitar player. We were talking off camera earlier about this Queensrÿche tribute band that I was in.
Okay. It was him.
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck, dude?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he moved away, right?
He moved away. He moved somewhere up north.
Yeah. Well, he was the other guitar player. It was Tony Carducci, him, Jerry Smith on bass, and Kevin Sampson on drums. So, and we did this Queensrÿche thing where we were just trying to play Operation Mindcrime from front to back. That was fun until we lost our place at the fucking Harborview, and that
was pretty much it. Yeah, bummer. But so, yeah.
And so then came the part of the night where I had to back up my freaking street cred.
Right.
What little I have left.
You had to bet your balls.
Yeah, and I had to play in my band, which when I picked, be honest with you, when I picked my band, I picked just for the sole, I've always wanted to jam with Dettel.
Yep.
And he gave me shit. It's, I said, do you want to do it? Do you want to play bass on it? And he's like, I don't know. Because I came on your podcast and kind of said that I was done playing. And I was like, but you're not. So.
Yeah. Plus, he was fucking hilarious and awesome.
Yeah, he was a great guest.
He was perfect. And I hadn't seen him play in a while, and I don't think I'd ever seen him play bass. Dude,
Yeah.
he's a fucking great bass player. Cool singer, great bass player.
He was too nervous about it. You know him. You know guys
He don't
like
think
that,
he's
yeah.
good. I think that's the thing about Dettel. It's like he don't think he's good.
Well, if he don't think he's good, then I don't know why he thinks that I'm any good. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know why he would think that anybody's good because he's fucking good, man.
Yeah.
Dettel's amazing.
So, and of course, I had Paul DePau on
Who
guitar.
is just a fucking guitar genius, man. I
It-
love listening to him play.
He was a great guy. I mean, you know, we rehearsed one time real quick on like a Wednesday night or something before the thing, just for shits, just to kind of see if we can get endings and together or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Because we had heard other bands were rehearsing, so we were like, well, we should at least get together and see if we're all playing in the same key.
Yeah, right. Make sure
You
we
know?
learn the same arrangements
Right.
of the songs. Make sure we're fucking got our guitars
Yeah.
tuned the same.
And so we got that done, and we had Kenny Bailey on drums, who's the owner of the Rascals. And when I put my band together, I wasn't. You think that I would try to pick like all the
Yeah,
you know,
dun, dun,
put together
dun.
like Dream Theater or something.
Yeah.
But I solely wanted it to just be something totally out of the realm of my comfort zone because I've never played with Kenny before,
Right.
On drums, and I've never
Right.
played with Dettel before, and I certainly haven't played with DePau before.
Well,
so
he sort of bet his balls on the fucking night, so I suppose as you bet your balls as a performer, you might as well fucking...
And everybody in Suspicious Package is huge Kiss fans.
Right.
So that was another kind of thing. And prior to this coming together, they had approached me about doing a Kiss cover band where we didn't put on like the makeup or anything, but just played
the
a bunch
songs.
of old Kiss songs,
Yeah.
obscure shit, you know. And I was like, fuck, I don't know, man.
Well, you guys' rendition of Detroit Rock City was fucking awesome, dude.
Thanks, man.
It was
But
really great.
I got to tell you, I played my Iceman, that Iceman back there for the first time in it'd been sitting on my wall for like 2 years with no strings on it. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to play the Iceman because when I'm playing Kiss, I got, we got to get real about this shit, right? So
I started making faces in the mirror.
So I took
practicing.
I took it to Carducci, and it had been years since I played that thing. I took it to Carducci, slapped some, strings on it, and straightened up the neck, and got the thing kind of playable.
Tony Carducci, that is the player in Brass Nipples, also is the repairman over at West Music. Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so, so he had set it up for me so I could actually play the thing for the jam, and. What was I going to say? Oh, I realized, and you'll see in the video, I realized that it's been such a long time since I played the guitar that I've grew a little bit of a belly, and Iceman sits kind of weird on you.
Yeah, right.
I had it really low, Paul Stanley style.
The
and
fucker was facing down.
Until you videotape yourself from the front and the back, you don't realize how much of like a lurch you look like.
Right.
With the Iceman looked like a toy to me, like like Grib Ape, like
nice ukulele.
So anyway, this was a Suspicious Package when we played, Kiss songs and then a Maiden tune or something like that. So, but here's kind of a little taste of how bad we were. No effects. You can give me another one. That would have sounded a lot better with a lot of delay on it.
Yeah. Dude, standing behind the fucking DC5 setup. I know a lot of people don't like those boogie amps, but I fucking dug it, dude. It was so mid-rangey and fucking barky. It just ruled. I loved, like, when we were sound checking and I was playing lead guitar through it. Ah, fuck. I loved it, man. It sounded killer with the EMG. So Mark Dettel's pants.
Yeah, Mark Dettel's pants. So I didn't know he was wearing normal clothes, and when we went to do our set, he comes walking on the stage with these leopard print pants and the jean boots, and I'm going, what the That's Dettel.
Yep.
Of course, he's having a good time. I loved it, man.
It was great.
I immediately smiled and went, I'm glad I'm here.
and by the way, when Dettel wasn't on stage with you guys, he was taking pictures the whole rest of the night, and he got some epic fucking pictures.
As well,
the guy's a great photographer.
Yeah, as Dougie Fresh.
Yep.
And a guy named Brian from Camera Corner were there. They were taking pictures. Yeah.
Taking pictures?
Brian Wallace.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, he was taking pictures down there too, and thank you guys for getting them pictures.
Yeah,
I felt like this was a spectacle. I mean, there was like a camera row, there was like a camera pit in front of the stage all night of people getting photographs.
Felt like we had some fucking paparazzi.
I was like, wow, people are paying attention, and I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
it makes me feel really good that this thing went down the way it did.
All of that stuff, every little element seems to serve to legitimize your affair. You know what I mean? And it's not to say that your shit is flat without it, but it certainly is like more. It seems more exciting and more real when that stuff's going on. You know. So
the underlying thing though is musicianship and music and the scene and people that like to see live bands.
Gotta have that.
It's the live music and the live energy and all that stuff that really is the glue.
Well, you don't want to have to hire these people. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like, hey, well, you for $20. You know, fuck that, man. If they're not there because they're personally interested in it, or they think that maybe something's going to go down that needs to be documented, then there isn't anything to be documented. There isn't anything there. You know, it's got to come from within. You know what I mean? You can't top down this shit. You can't try to fake it. So, you know, that's kind of where I'm at with it anyway.
Do you remember how hot it was?
Oh, it was
in there?
fucking ridiculous.
It was burning up in there.
Yeah, it was really hot.
And after I got done the set, I just started feeling like kind of close, like my this was happening.
Little tunnel
I was starting to
vision,
see that going on, and I was feeling this lump in my throat, like I'm gonna be sick.
Yeah, whoa.
I'm gonna be sick, and I gotta go to the bathroom. And so I go to the bathroom and I'm like dry heaving in the garbage can as people are like, man, this is great, dude. And you're like, fucking awesome.
Thank you.
You know, I saw Tanner was in the bathroom, you know, Tanner.com. He's got a website. Anyway,
No, I don't think I know him.
Anyway, him and his wife always come out and see stuff. They were in the front the whole time.
Okay, cool.
But he was in the bathroom. He's like, dude, rock and roll. And I'm like, heaving in the trash can and shit. And he's like, you okay? And he's like, your husband, he told my wife, your husband's in there like hacking, you know?
Yeah.
But it was like more of like a heat thing. That was just, it just got the best.
I've had that to where you just like your whole face and your whole head just feels hot.
Pale.
Yeah,
I turned pale, and I'm like, God, am I really that much of an amateur?
No.
It was just everything came.
I don't think so.
Storm.
That's what I mean, dude. It was a fucking white squall.
Yeah, and that felt great. You know what I mean? That felt great. I went, I was like, cool. Now I can have fun, and I went back inside, and unfortunately, I didn't get to catch all of Planet Piss because I had to go outside and get fresh air because it was just so hot in there. So I had to go out there and get fresh air.
Which Planet Piss, were they the next one?
Yep.
Okay, so Planet Piss was Eric Flores from 1152 and Steve Sparks from 1152.
Absolutely.
Drummer and bass player. So those guys kind of had a little bit of fucking home turf advantage because that bass player and that drummer have been playing together solidly twice a week for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been at it for a long time.
But
man.
then on top of that, I threw in some old school metal, some Lyle Leftwich, man.
Right. Yep.
I put Lyle Leftwich in that group so that. Because, he's a bare metal fucking guy,
dude,
too.
Yeah.
And then you put Renner on top of it.
Yeah. Which Renner, great fucking musician, great showman, and he can do that fucking Lemmy thing perfectly.
I couldn't wait to see what they could do, man. Yep. I wanted to see what they picked. Let's watch a little bit of Planet Piss for a second.
All right, Planet Piss, here we go.
Dude, they were killing.
Fucking ridiculous, dude. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. See me back there fucking banging my dumb head. Lyle fucking Leftwich, dude.
we were just talking about Lyle Leftwich in that video in how his guitar was about 4 inches off the ground, and fucking he just looks like the real deal.
He
you know
does,
what I mean?
man. I think he looks cooler with gray hair than he did when he was young. He just fucking
He's
looks awesome.
50.
Really?
Is he?
No.
Come on
fucking
now.
way. Really?
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
only 5 years younger than my mom and dad.
I can verify that. I mean,
yeah, well,
I guess
no,
I could,
we
but
better not talk out of turn on that.
He's over 50.
Yeah, he's over 50, but he's still rocking it like it's
Well,
fucking...
that makes me feel awesome because
Yeah,
it's like,
right.
I got a little bit longer to still
Yeah.
look cool like that. Because
Yeah,
I thought he
absolutely.
fucking played great and he looked pro on stage and fucking killed it, man.
Yep,
I'm glad.
guitar sounded great.
I'm glad that he was part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So of course, you talked about Sparks and Eric having What'd you say? You said because I was saying I don't know if Eric had any fun doing it because he seemed like
no. I got back
like
there.
Calm.
He fucking sits down and he picks up his sticks and he looks at me and he says something like, "I'm about half shit faced." I mean, he said something like, "I'm half hammered," something like that. And I thought, oh, you know what? I'll bet you're gonna play it just fine. And he did, dude. It's like the legend of the kid that goes to driver's ed every day drunk. He learns to drive drunk. You know what I mean? Like Eric Flores, man, he fucking knows how to do it. He's a pro. Speaking of pros,
I think he's a great drummer. I've always thought he was a great drummer, and that's why I think
he's got one of the best hi-hat. You know what I mean? Like his ability to get dynamics and play meaningful grooves and patterns, with subtle differences in loudness and timing on the hi. He just has one of the best hi-hats of anybody around here. Yeah. Every time he does it, I always think, oh, yeah, that's right. This kid's like Stuart fucking Copeland on these hi-hats.
He's a great drummer, man.
Great drummer, dude.
And to be honest with you, when I started the jam, that was some of the first people that I got a hold of. I actually did kind of handpick Eric and Steve. Well, you wanted. I know that you also reached out to 3 Years Hollow, and they would have done. They were there.
Yeah, right. That's
they
right.
They were watching the show, but they just didn't know if they'd be free at the time. And
they couldn't plan it.
I wish I could have got that together because I was trying to mix members of 1152 and 3 Years Hollow
just
together.
See what would happen.
But it didn't happen that way, so I had to mix some things around to do it the other way. But Eric, I really hope that you had a good time because you're a great drummer and you belong up there. And I hope you dug it, man. I hope that next time we do this that you want to do it again.
Sure.
So
don't be a faggot.
Yeah, don't be a faggot.
He's gonna be like, fuck you, Travis Williams. Fuck you.
Yeah, he calls me B minor.
B minor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he coined that term.
Yeah.
And I stole it from him like immediately, promptly. It came out of his mouth and I was like, appropriated.
Hey, B minor. He's got that personality that I kind of used to have, but I used to get beat up too much having it. You know what I mean?
Whereas Eric Flores, he just started pounding people into the pavement and that was that.
Yeah, he's a tough kid.
He's a tough kid, man.
But man, and as soon as Renner's voice, when we were watching it and he kicked into the Motorhead, we were like, oh yeah, we got a good mix there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was great.
But Sparks, you can't forget about Sparks, man.
No, and he
still has that same stoic kind of like fucking look that he has in 1152, man.
The thing about bass playing and bass players in general is that I keep seeing posts on Facebook like scientists have proven that bass players are the most important player in the band. It's like, I know, okay, cool. But you know what? I kind of agree with it in a way because even though you can't have a good band without a good drummer, fact, cannot have a good band without a good drummer. Really, in a certain way, the bass player is the thing that ties everything together. I mean, you don't know what harmony the song is in without the lowest sound that you're hearing, and the bass player makes that choice, and how they make that choice can really make the difference between something fucking boring and something really interesting. And a lot of times with bass, you have to have an element of humbleness in the way that you go about doing things. And I think that's kind of the way Steve Sparks is. Like, he's a true bass player in that sense, He's not trying to like get out in front of anything. He's trying to make it so that the music happens the way it should. And I think that really there's a certain kind of musicianship that for the reason of having to put yourself in, it's like some people say when you're playing bass properly, you don't notice it unless there's something wrong with it, that when you're willing to put yourself in that place where you're imperceptible, like invisible in the music, there's a certain humbleness you have to have. And bass players get that right away. Guitar players and singers have to realize that down the road.
I'll tell you what I like about Steve Sparks, and I don't know why it is, but there's something visual about him that makes the band heavier just looking at him. I don't know how to explain that, but the way he plays bass and the way he kind of addresses the crowd, you don't ever see him smile. It's kind of like,
right.
But it would be okay if he did,
right?
But I'm just saying that he just adds that he looks tough as fuck on stage. Just the way he plays is so, it just helped.
It's an image of solidness.
Right.
It's an image of solidness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he was playing
I was
his toe
going to bring
guard,
that up. I was going to bring that up because the bass that he was playing, if we let's go to the tape. If you go to the tape, the bass that he was playing was a Togar bass, who
is a sponsor of MDR, by the way.
Yes, he's a sponsor of MDR, and Togar is short for Tommy Garden. And Tommy Garden, when I first met him, it was as a Music Around customer. He's also known Mark Rubling for years and years and years, the owner of Music Around. And Tommy, when I met him, was working in the area as a master plumber. Like, he's a fucking, plumbing genius, right? And doing all this stuff. Well, then he must have got a hair up his ass and moved down to Arizona to go to luthier school, or luthier school, if you're fancy.
Yeah, how in the fuck do you say that?
I don't know. I just say it both ways. That way people can, whatever. But
luthier.
Anyway, yeah, luthier. I'm going to go to my luthier. Well, I'm going to go to my luthier. Go fuck yourself. No, pinkies out.
You can tell the assholes, whoever says luthier.
That's me.
Right.
I'm the one going, fuck you. You're saying it wrong. Learn French, you piece of shit. Drink wine. Red wine, not white wine. Yeah. But anyway, but so he goes down there, and this is all hearsay. Tommy, I'm sorry if I'm talking out of turn, but he goes down there, learns how to do it, gets so good at it in the program that they keep him on hand to start teaching other people how to do it because he's so fucking good at it. Then he comes back here and starts building basses, and his basses are gorgeous. They are made of the most beautiful woods, and they have top flight electronics and hardware on them, and they look like as good as anything you could get made by anybody anywhere. They look fantastic. And there's a rumor that he's going to start doing guitars. And
I heard that too.
Yeah, so I don't know entirely what his plans are for that, but his basses are top notch. I can only imagine that his guitars are also going to be equally well built, So
absolutely.
Here's to you, Tommy. We love you, buddy.
Yeah, good work.
Good work for sure.
So on with the night. We had our last band was Broga Pants.
Broga Pants. So we've been through everybody. Except my band.
Oh, okay. Sorry. We'll start.
What the fuck, dude?
I'll edit, dude.
What the fuck,
edit that.
Brian?
I'll edit that. and then
don't edit that out, man. I want everybody to see what a fucking skip over Travis, treat Travis like a second class citizen, fucking untouchable class and fucking.
I just
caste
figured
system.
it didn't matter.
I didn't know, man. Up your nose with a rubber hose. So anyway,
what was the name of your band?
Well, I can't really tell you because we were the band that dare not speak its name.
That's right.
And I was in there with some terrific musicians. Matt Finn from your band Dive Bomb, who is like the hardest hitting fucking most exciting drummer probably I've ever played with, as far as just straight up rock is concerned, like that kid, he's like pretty much built for Motley Crue. Like, he's built for the Crew. Like, he can play that kind of driving, rock drum line, whatever you want to call it, that just every time that snare hits, you just feel yourself want to fucking bang a chick, you know what I mean? Like, and be generally misogynistic, you know what I mean? He knows how to do that. He was hemming and hawing. We did a Motley Crue song, and he was hemming and hawing about doing the AC/DC song, but I was like, after I heard him play it, I was like, fuck off. You play AC/DC extremely well. So that part of it was great. I had Steve Krug on bass, who plays.
Surprised me. I mean, when he played what you guys played, a whole new dimension of. I saw a different Steve Krug standing up there. You know what I mean?
I think that's where he comes from.
I loved it. I felt closer to him. I was like, oh yeah, he gets it, man.
He does get it, dude.
He gets it.
Yep.
So when I talk to him again, I'll understand that he's not just kind of humoring me about that old stuff.
No,
he chose.
Yeah. He chose the Judas Priest song.
Sweet.
Which was actually the most complicated song we did. I just listened to it a bunch of times, and I thought I was going to pick my guitar up and just it'll happen. No, that was fucking tough, man. I had to learn all these different parts and all this stuff. But once I started getting it under my hands, it was better. But I mean, I was literally still playing shit the day of, going, oh, I hope I don't fuck this up.
Yeah, when I put your highlight together, I was like, man, I want to show Travis doing some cool solo stuff. But then I thought, I'm going to show what made your band look the most like street
Yeah.
Because that's what you wanted to be in a band with Matt for, is to have that raw fucking rock thing.
Rock.
And what showcased it the best to me was what you guys, the crew song that you did.
Right.
So I was like, and one critique I have for you, Trav, and everybody was so happy to see you play guitar again, and just to see your smiley face up there.
Let me guess.
I missed the antennas, but
Face the audience.
face the fucking audience, man. You play to the drummer 90%
I always
of the
do
time.
that. I love playing with the drummer. That's what I love to do, man.
Well, that's cool, man.
That's my
cool.
wheelhouse. That's where I feel like the most fucking like I'm rocking. You know what I mean? But I guess it's not as entertaining. You're right.
Well, that's cool. And if you were having fun, that's by all means, that's fine.
Yeah,
But
I think a lot of people thought that it was like a nervous thing.
See, that's the way it looks to the audience, is that he's afraid to face us.
Yeah, no. And that isn't really it at all. It's just I get off the hardest facing the drummer. That's where I do my fucking...
Anytime I ever play a gig, I'm hating the fact that I have to face away from the drummer.
That sucks, dude, because like all of the best playing and practicing I've ever done in my life has always been in a little room.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you're facing each other in a circle.
And
right.
I just love that, man.
That's kind of how Marianas was.
That's how Marianas
was. You guys played in a circle.
We
always went like totally unpro, but cool for this situation.
Yep, exactly.
Because it just looked like you were feeding off each other's energy.
And we were. Yeah. That is how it was happening.
But see, my school of rock was like the Kiss and the entertaining bands that were out on the edge of and they were all communicating by signals and not looking at each other. If somebody messed up, there was never a look back at somebody messing up.
That's right.
You always taught these things and you learn these things. A professional would never, if you hear the drummer going off or missing something, you never like turn around and look at him.
What the fuck?
You keep doing your thing, or you start kicking your feet to get back on rhythm. Or whatever it is. Because I used to watch Paul Stanley all the time.
Sure.
They could end a song and hold a chord, and then they would all end it together without looking at each other. Down. Just by Paul's movement.
Right.
And when I see people turn around looking at the drummer, I see, to my mind, sees amateur.
Yeah.
Because they're used to practice facing each other, and that's where they're comfortable.
I admit, I kind of am.
Right.
You know what I mean? I never was really like a super pro guitar player.
It doesn't bother me because you're doing it. So,
it's me. It's just who I am.
You're not Kiss.
I'm not Kiss.
You're Travis fucking Williams.
Kiss. And I'm really barely a rock and roll musician anymore. I mean, the stuff I write at this point has distorted guitars in it.
Yeah.
But that's about as like rock and roll as it is. You know what I mean? It's really like more like heavy pop.
You ready to watch this clip, man?
And we should say something about John Kiss too, because John Kiss has been in the scene for fucking ever. He has an incredible vocal range.
Absolutely.
We were all extraordinarily excited to be playing, and I think the way that we look on stage while we're playing, I think shows how excited we were. And
you guys were standard tuned, right?
We actually were standard tuned.
Okay, now listen.
Because
Motley Crue was recorded in a whole step down.
That's right.
So I was going to say that because when you watch this video and Kiss hits the high note in this song, understand that he's actually hitting the note a whole step higher than what Vince Neil hit.
Yes,
so,
and on the recording of Vince Neil, I think Theater of Pain was kind of the low point for him on a personal level and on a professional level. And he sounds like he's choking on his own fucking spit doing it on the recording. He's, so what the fuck? But yeah, John Kiss, man, boom.
Yeah, I can't believe you hit that note because that, Anyway, so check this out. This is the band that dare not speak its name.
Drama major.
Yeah. Check it. Watch Finn.
What a fucking badass. Yep.
Yeah.
That's some straight up fucking
pipes.
Some straight up fucking pipes, dude. He hits those fucking notes. He hits that note like.
Yeah, I know.
can't even do that shit breathing
My
in.
daughter can do that.
Yep. But I mean, I think part of the thing that I like about that particular choice, which we did not choose that song, by the way. Matt Finn, he what we did was I said, you know what? Since we're gonna do 4 songs, which I didn't know, you had sort of shortened it to 3, but since we had done 4 songs, we were gonna do 4 songs. What I said was, well, why don't we each pick a song? So we each picked a song. I picked Sammy Hagar, Heavy Metal. John Kiss picked AC/DC, Let There Be Rock. Steve Krug picked Judas Priest, Hellion Electric Eye. And then Matt Finn said, we'll just pick a crew song. Right? He didn't want to know. And I didn't know. I'm like, well, because I'm kind of on the outside looking in on Motley Crue, really. I don't really know it that well. So I talked to the other guys in the group, and they were just kind of like, I don't know. So a coworker of mine, who I knew was a pretty big Crue fan, a man by the name of TJ Hansen, said, well, let me think on it. And then he came back the next day, and he was like, do Louder Than Hell.
Great choice.
Perfect choice,
that song's
TJ.
badass,
fucking badass. And you don't hear it. Nobody ever plays that song.
There's a reason why. It's because everybody tries to play it in their standard tuning, and then the singer goes, fuck you.
Yeah, right.
Because nobody's going to try to hit them notes. And it's tough. The riff is awesome, and it's not that tough, and the rhythm's great, but when people actually get in a rehearsal place to play it, they forget that that's a whole step down.
Because we were playing it, na, 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 na. It really is, na, 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 na. It's really like that key.
It's still a high note to hit.
It's still a fucking high as shit note to hit it.
Absolutely. Because in my band, we do Motley Crue, and we tune to the way that they're tuned, and it's still up there.
It's up there, right.
Because we do like Live Wire and Red Hot, all them kind of old school Motley Crue songs.
Well, and I had a real bitch of a time learning that fucking Judas Priest song, just because it's not that it's not like it's math metal or something. But
see, I thought you picked that one for some reason. I thought
that was Steve Krug.
Okay.
That was Steve Krug. So that's a little glimpse into, where he's coming from with his bass playing and stuff. Because even though he doesn't do that stuff really now, that's the shit, as far as like metal is concerned, that was the stuff that he cut his teeth on, And
maybe at some point we'll put the entire sets up for people to see, every song that they played and stuff. But I was gonna mention Farley. He's actually in the last band.
Yeah, that's right. Broga Pants.
He was a drummer, and we just talked to him before the podcast, and we were asking him because I had heard that the board that we used that night has the capability of recording individual tracks of what was recorded. So the audio you're hearing on this is all GoPro stuff. But I hear he's got the raw tracks, and he can actually mix it and make it sound decent.
Well, yeah. Although a lot of times my impression of board mixes, especially since the drum kit didn't have overheads, is that while they get good direct signal, they lack ambience. Really, I think it's going to be chocolate and peanut butter. It's going to be getting the GoPro audios to be phase accurate with each other, and then using them as the ambience for the direct mix tracks from the board, and then we should have a pretty good mix. I think we can do it, man.
Yeah, well, you can't fix freaking stupid, and sometimes there was some stupid things happening. Like I wasn't, to be honest with you, I didn't perform the best that I could. I wasn't really looking at it like that. Our band didn't really put a whole lot of time into it, and I was really surprised that everybody else did. I felt Dental kept coming up to take pictures, and they'd look at me and go, "We're fucked." And then he'd walk back up stage, So, and I was like,
I can see him saying that too, man.
We're so fucked.
We're so fucked.
Yeah, and and then the last band, Broga Pants, with Jacob Gregory on vocals,
right?
Mike Gustafson on guitar from Crop Circle. I'm trying to think of everything.
Shannon Ford on bass. And you had Zach Damp on guitar. Ryan Farley on drums. Justin Farley on drums.
And all the bands were awesome.
They were, yeah.
But, and you get mad at me for this, but this band being last was kind of the cap or the icing on the cake.
They were the capper, for sure.
Because I really felt like I was watching something magic happen.
Me too.
And this band, I put together 3 different highlights for their set, because there was 3 as I was putting this together, and I remember that night I started getting chills now thinking about it.
Yeah.
The mixture of the youth and the energy and what was, the new school coming in, because, Jacob's a younger guy, and I know that
and Zach
Gustafson's my age or whatever, but
he never strayed. He always was a fucking heavy metal dude.
Sure. And Shannon Ford, I got to see, because I don't get out too much to see what's going on too much anymore.
I don't think any of us do.
Right. And even when Crop Circle was playing, I didn't get to see them much because we were always playing.
Right.
So you kind of miss each other.
Yeah.
And But to see this mixture of dudes on the same stage doing what they were doing, I was blown away.
It was fucking ridiculous.
And the people that were there were lucky to witness it, and they seemed happy to be on stage. And you got to watch the highlight. Just watch the highlights of this. And like I said, the audio recording doesn't even serve it justice because the sound, the bigness of what was happening on stage.
Well,
from where I was at.
Shannon Ford's bass tone was just fucking phenomenal. I mean, it was just monstrous, man. And obviously the guitar tones of the two guitar players were straight up metal because Zach Damp is a straight up metal player, and obviously Mikey is a veteran metal player, and he knows how to get that big scooped sound. And Justin Farley pounding the drums. And I played with Farley in Marianas for a while, and the thing that I always liked jamming with him was that, number one, he's a jammer, and number two, he knows how to construct a groove, man. So seeing those guys play together was marvelous.
Check this out. Broga Pants. Here we go.
What's up, rascals? How many of you folks know some shit about MC5? It's time to dig out the jams, motherfucker!
That's fucking badass and a brilliant song choice, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know it, dude. God of fucking thunder. Actual real God of thunder. That, my friends, that, my friends, is what heavy fucking metal looks like.
I had to put the three clips together because, of course, when they first went into the MC5, just the energy of the room, just something happened because they must have had a lot of friends there.
Yeah,
and they were packed up. It looked like a concert.
Plus, it's a brilliant choice of song. Nobody ever plays "Kick Out the Jams," and then to do it all down tuned like that with a super heavy vocal, fucking killer song.
And of course, being a Kiss fan, when they did "God of Thunder," I was in heaven.
Yeah,
because it sounded so huge.
Yeah, it was actual God of Thunder.
And that little last segment was actually part of a song called "Bury Me in Smoke" from Yeah,
I had
from
heard
Down,
that
yeah.
from Down, and I had heard that song a long time ago and had forgotten about it.
All right.
So then to hear them play that and thought, oh,
I just remember. I remember Doug Brundies was in the audience. He was watching, and he had a drink in his hand, and they kicked into that riff, and he went, "Oh!" and he threw the drink down.
He
and
threw
was like,
it down.
He threw it down. I was like, "Oh, hell yeah!" And he was like, came up threw the drink on the ground.
Boom.
It was a plastic cup,
Right.
So nothing bad. Kenny.
No glass.
But,
Yeah, sorry, Kenny.
Boom, and then I was like, "Oh shit, man!
Yeah, this is real.
This
Shit
is real."
just got real.
But that part where he's, when they kick back into the riff like that, and the way that all the heads were going, and the smoke and the light from the back, I was seeing something cool, man. The energy was, it was amazing.
It was amazing.
It was
super fun, and it's just one of those things where I know I have to be boring people telling them about it because I know I'm just like repeating myself. I'm just like, oh my God. It's like the first time you get high and you just sit there and the whole time and you go, oh my God, I'm so stoned. I'm so stoned. I'm so stoned. I'm so stoned. And they're like, we get it. You're high. You're stoned. We get it.
Yeah, so this was kind of a weird podcast because all we talked about was the All Star Jam.
Yeah,
but hey, we had to get it out, right?
We did, man. Yeah.
We knew that doing the podcast, that's all we were going to talk about anyway.
Sure.
So we might as well have done a recap on that. And then if you missed it, there's some little tidbits of kind of what went down.
I also wanted to, I hopefully wanted it to set up the idea that if we, do this again, that it's something worthwhile, both for the musicians and for the people that that go.
But you have to be there.
Yeah, you have to be there.
In order for it to work, it's kind of like ants in a line. We all have to feed off of each other's energy.
Yeah.
Because if you miss it and then you watch video of it later, then you didn't get to feel the full. Because you'd be standing next to all of your peers feeling the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
And I've never seen so many people high five and hug each other and fucking.
We've all known each other so long, you know.
And that's not something I did. I just put together a jam. What happened was the community of musicians came together and they dropped their bullshit. And like I said, even if you weren't invited to this one or you didn't get in on not invited, but if you didn't make it into this one, don't write it off yet because we're going to do it again. And
I would love to see it done pretty much with all different people if we can manage it, because there's still a huge wellspring of talent around here. And
I told Broga Pants that if we do it again, they have to do it again.
They have to do it again.
That same lineup. But Farley said that he'd probably want to sit the next one out. So
well, I don't blame him.
He said that there's other people that are deserving of being in the all-star position, and I see it that way too. But I just I didn't think that it was going to be anything that
don't get greedy, Brian.
Anybody would want to do to begin with.
Don't get greedy, Brian. Come on.
You know what I'm saying.
You can't always have your cake and eat it too.
All right. Well, and man, like I said, I want to thank all the people that were there that paid to get in and watch the show, and of course all the players that were in it. People that were taking pictures, everybody that the next day, I got on Facebook the next day and I literally couldn't, it took me like 4 thumb flicks to get past Minor Disturbance stuff or from the show and people saying things about it. And I was really, really flattered to have that happen. It was definitely an event for the ages, man.
Yeah, it was. And also, it directly impacts the continuance of this show. It absolutely directly impacts the continuance of this show. I mean, not to make it sound like public television or something, but any bit of merchandise that people buy, that cover charge that got charged at the door, and the fact that all the musicians played in the way they did. I know I started off saying that all of this stuff was meant to help pay down some of the costs of things that Brian regularly has spent money on through the year in order to make it so that this show could happen and have it seem like halfway professional. You've upgraded the cameras, you've upgraded the microphones, you upgraded the mixing board, you upgraded the desk, you've upgraded your software. Like, you literally upgraded everything. And then every time you release an episode, because of how Facebook works, you also have to pay if you want it to get out there. So
if it says sponsored under it, if I'm doing that to try to spread the word to like-minded people that want to be interested in the scene and kind of get, like I said, the whole idea was to get more people interested so that when we do have a band on here, you get more ears on you. I mean, how else are we going to do that? How are you going to get new people that may have not ever heard you before? I mean, it worked good for 1152. It worked good for a lot, because a lot of people that watched that saw them for the first time was like, that's cool. And I know of people directly that have bought CDs purely because they heard it on here.
Sure.
But also I wanted to remind people too that if you were at the show, all the players got shirts that said, and there's one right there. If you want,
Right, yeah.
Can you take that off of there and turn that around there? Turn around the other way first. Yeah, Nar City did these shirts for us, and they were a sponsor as well. And he ran these shirts off for us, and all the people that were in the jam, so they all got one of these. And go ahead and turn it around, and it has a list of all the bands and all the people that were playing in it. And I apologize for the misspellings on a couple things here. A couple were my fault. Couple got mixed up in the translation, but. If you're interested in having one of these shirts, I think I've got it figured out how I can do it. Now, this is kind of a weird way to do it, but if you go onto our Facebook page, you can go ahead and hang that up. But if you go onto our Facebook page, I'm a really cool shirts. They look cool, and I like to see them on people's backs.
You will get laid if you wear the shirt.
But if you want one of them shirts to commemorate the All Star Jam or whatever. Just I think message me or something and say that you're interested in it, and then just go. On our Facebook page we have a little button there that says donate, and I think what I'll do is I'll have you tell me that you want the shirt, and then donate $15 because the shirts are $15.
Yep.
And PayPal, it has to be PayPal, and then I'll get as soon as I see it in there, I'll look. Okay, yeah, you did that, and then I'll just mail the damn thing to you. You know what I mean? It's the easiest way to do it right now because I don't want to start a store and all that bullshit and deal with that. So is that a good way to do it?
If it works, I just don't want there to be any mix-ups about shit and things like that. The thing about
and if it is, I mean, if you say that you don't, I'm gonna believe you.
We'll
you know
do
what
things
I mean?
in good faith for sure.
Right. I'm sure there's no crooks out there that's like, yeah, I gave you $50 worth my fucking shirt.
I just made off with a Minor Disturbance radio shirt. Right. Laughing all the way to the bank.
Right.
Yeah,
so
that
I
shit
mean, if
doesn't
you're interested
happen.
in one, because. Yeah, I can print some more is what I'm saying. We're out of the ones that I gave to the musicians, but I can have more printed, and it's going to cost me money this time. So
Sure.
I actually did pay him some money because I'm not one of them assholes. He was going to do it for free, but then I was like, no, dude, I got to give you some money because I'm not going to have you buy shirts and lose money. I want you to actually make a little bit of money doing it. So,
Sure.
But Nar City prints shirts like that, and you should have them do your band shirts. So anyway, thanks Nar City for the shirts.
So Nar City, Rascals, Togar Guitars. Who else? Oh yeah, we got koozies.
Yeah. And there was
That's
also,
right.
Rascals. Who else was it?
You're coming on like Gene Simmons now.
Yeah.
Now you're like, and you got a Minor Disturbance radio coffin.
Well, I was throwing these out for free anyway. But if you get a shirt, until I'm out of these, I'll throw in a koozie too, and maybe a sticker. How about that?
All right,
Is that cool?
that seems like a square deal.
All right, so cool. So anyway, Minor Disturbance Radio episode 42.
Is it 42?
Yeah, we'll call it 42.
Okay.
Unless you want to call it like All Star Jam recap.
No, it's still the number.
All right,
it's like the
episode
first
42.
3 Led Zeppelin
So,
albums.
hey, thanks a lot, guys, and I really hope that you're digging what we're doing. And if you do, please click the like button, share the fucking episodes. If you're watching it, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's key. I mean, we got a whole bunch of new subscribers, and we want to thank you guys for doing that. But that's really where where our legit numbers come from is if we can get some decent subscribers. Click that subscribe button.
Yeah, it gives us legitimacy,
Right.
I think.
So,
Right.
So anyway, I appreciate everybody watching the episodes, and we'll see you guys next time. And rock out with your cock out.
We love you guys.
Oh shit! I said